Story time. I am going to share some of my personal stories with you. But before doing that, it's really important to understand why would we do that? What would be the point of investing our time and energy to listen to someone else's story? What would be the intention of sharing stories? So today I want to talk about the healing power of storytelling with you. Just a few experiences to bring awareness about the storytelling as a therapeutic tool. So long time ago in the human history, people sat around fire outside under the blue sky, looking at the stars, and shared stories. The elders shared their wisdom and life experiences with the younger generation. What a precious gift! What a precious gift. Just imagine how healing and soothing it would be to the soul, sitting around the fire and sharing stories. Then we come to children and bedtime stories. All parents know how healing it is to read bedtime stories for the young children. You know, after a long day at work, especially in this time and era that we are so overextended in our life, to cuddle with the children in bed and share stories. It's a wonderful opportunity for parents to bond with their children. It's not a surprise that Einstein suggested to share fairy tales with your children. Give them the gift of imagination where anything is possible. That a pumpkin can turn into a carriage and mice can transform to human beings. Imagine if the child, feels and understands that gift of imagination, then there is no limit to what we can create in our mind. Probably a wonderful gift any parent can give to their children. So we understand the gift for storytelling for children. What about adults? Adults love stories. When we look at the human history, we see wonderful stories told by gifted writers, the books that we will always remember, the films that may have altered our life, a painting, music that touches the heart, a theater, a play you have seen, an opera, on and on. The creative arts are the outlook for our soul. The creation, the arts are food for our soul. And the storytelling is probably one of the most precious gifts for humanity. It's no wonder that Dalai Lama wisely said that we don't need more successful people. We need more storytellers. And storytellers can make a difference in our life. So here is an invitation for you to go back to your childhood and see what kind of stories do you remember. Did you have any favorite books? Is there a book that you will always remember? What about in your adult life? did you read a book that you couldn't put down and you read it in the one setting and you remember that story all the time? See if there was a movie that really moved and touched and inspired you with possibilities you couldn't think about for yourself before, or any kind of experiences like that. If you feel like it, maybe make a list of it. And I would want to invite you then to look and say, what was it about that story that touched you so deeply? Do you remember? I have been on this planet for over 7 decades, and I still remember the stories that my mother shared with me on those hot summer days in Tehran where all the adults took a siesta. I laid next to her and she shared the folklore stories, Persian folklore stories with me that I still remember. She is now about 96 years old in a nursing home in Tehran. But that was one of the most precious gifts that I received from her, and I remember them. And I loved sharing them with our children when they were little, and I love sharing them with our grandchildren now, to offer a gift of culture to them. The research has shown that if a fact is given straight as a fact, and if it's given in form of a story, there is 27% higher possibility of the people who receive that in spoken words or in written words to remember that message and keep it. I'm a good example of that for many years I attended many seminars for my career, that very important facts and founding of research was shared in form of graphs and statistics. They didn't stay with me. But when I hear a good story, it stays with me for a lifetime. I don't need to write it or remember it. It's just there, and I will share it with other people. So here's an invitation for you to take a look at your life and see those impacts. The next time I would like to share with you about sharing the story of our life in a counseling setting, in a therapeutic setting. But that would be another story for another time. So until then, like Shahrzad the storyteller, I would say goodbye for now and be gentle with yourself. Namaste.